Hello and welcome back to Library of Ruina Ranked. In this video, we'll be covering the Liu Association Section 2 and Thumb Syndicate. Our first page is Emotional Turbulence. This page is a 3 cost that rolls 4 to 8 block, 5 to 9 pierce, 4 to 9 slash, 3 to 7 block counter. The pierce inflicts 2 burn on hit, the slash inflicts 1 burn on hit, and on use, the dice gain 1 power for every 2 emotion levels. This is a pretty incredible bomb page. While the utility is lower than Repressed Flesh, the clashing starts slightly better and gets better and better as the reception goes on. At this point of the game, page draw starts being less important because of the power of Will of the Prescript, and dice type consistency starts mattering less due to universal power boosters like Fervor. All that means this page gets an S rating. Our next page is Inner Ardor. This is a 2 cost rolling 4 to 9 block, 6 to 10 slash, and on use, the user gains 1 positive emotion coin. This page has solid clashing but lacks good utility and damage. 2-die clashing pages are starting to fall off here, and Inner Ardor can only manage a C+. Flow of the Sword ends up even worse though. This 2 cost rolls 4 to 8 3 to 8 slash, with the 1 inflicting 2 burn on hit, the 2 inflicting 1 burn on hit, and at emotion level 3 or higher, it only costs 1 light. This page has the same roll average as Dimensional Rift, but lacks the strong utility that Rift gives. The damage isn't awful, but it's only a bit better than Searing Sword, which you get in Urban Plague, so this page is a D+. Sturdy Defense is a 3 cost rolling 3 to 10 evade, 8 to 17 block, 3 to 6 pierce. The block draws a page on Clash Win, the pierce inflicts 2 burn on hit, and on use, it draws a page. This page is one of the stronger defensive pages, but a couple of factors hold it back. First, and most obviously, the damage is quite low even for defensive page standards with a single 3 to 6 and a 2 burn. The other main factor is its dice composition. While strong evades are usually good, this page's main purpose is to snuff strong 2s, but against pages with a weak offensive than a strong offensive, the evade will eat the first die and then lose to the second die, leaving the block unused for its intended purpose. Still, it's a pretty great page, and while I generally don't use it, I can see the appeal of semi-consistent 2-page draw, and this page is deserving of its A- ranking. Fleet Edge is next. This is a 2 cost rolling 2 to 6 evade, 4 to 8 3 to 8 pierce, both giving the user 1 haste next seen on hit. Compared to Flow of the Sword, you lose the burn and cost reduction for haste and an evade die. 2 haste is better than 3 burn, and a 2 to 6 evade is worth more than costing 1 less slight at emo 3 and above. However, the rolls are still a bit anemic, especially the evade die, which will not often do anything if you're not clashing to a utility page. It's playable, but nothing fantastic, so I think that means this is a C+. Rushdown is a 1 cost rolling 3 to 7 blunt, 3 to 7 pierce. The 1 reduces the power of the target's current defensive die by 2, the 2 inflicts 1 burn on hit, and on combat start, offensive dice deal 1 extra damage to the scene. This page has quite a lot going on, but unfortunately it's not great. The dice are fairly weak, so it's hard to clash into non-utility pages with this, which reduces the effectiveness of the defensive die hosing, and the combat start effect will give you about 4 to 8 extra damage under ideal situations. While that's not nothing, pages that can't clash well and don't have good utility aren't very good. This page isn't a disaster, but it's only a C-. Frontal Assault is next. This is a 0 cost rolling 2 to 7, 1 to 2 pierce, and on use, it restores 1 light. This is the Leo light regen, and it's alright. Double offensive dice is bad for utility pages in my opinion, but you do get a guaranteed emotion coin from the 1 to 2 die. It's not incredible like the Urban Nightmare light regen, but it's a decent piece of light regen and gets a B+. Forming Storm is a 4 cost rolling 8 to 20 slash that inflicts 3 burn on hit, but on use, it removes all the dice from the page and adds Raging Storm harm to the user's hand next scene. Raging Storm harm is a 1 cost mass individual rolling 8 to 20 slash and inflicts 3 burn on hit, but it can only be used this scene. Overall, you pay 5 light for this mass attack, which is a very good rate, but you do need to use one of your dice to do nothing, which limits the effectiveness of the page. My opinion on masses is that they're inherently powerful and need to be pretty awful to not be worth using, and this page is no exception. It's not the best, but not the worst, and gets an A- from me. Taishang Kao is a 3 cost rolling 5 to 6 pierce, 8 to 21 blunt, 3 to 7 pierce counter, with the blunt inflicting between 1 and 6 burn depending on the user's emotion level. This page is a bit awkward because of the weaker 1 making it hard to clash effectively with it, and the strong 2 makes you want to clash with it to get the most out of it. I'd say this page would be better if the pierce was a block, but the counter die is good enough to get this page a B. Gale Kick is a 2 cost rolling 7 to 13 pierce, 2 to 6 pierce counter with the pierce drawing a page on hit. This is a solid utility page, having a page draw and a counter die. The page draw being on hit hurts a little bit, but is strong enough to win most of the time. There isn't too much to say about this page, and it's just a solid B+. High Kick is next. This is a 1 cost rolling 5 to 10 blunt and draws a page on hit. This page isn't as good. The counter die is the big reason as to why Gale Kick was good, and this page's rolls just aren't there, so despite being cheaper, it's just a C. Iron Wall is a 2 cost rolling 5 to 8, 4 to 8 block, 2 to 6 pierce, and on use, the user gains 1 endurance next scene, but at emotion level 3 or higher, you gain 2 endurance instead. This is fairly mediocre for most cases. Endurance stacking builds like it fine enough, but of course, if your entire floor is stacking endurance, then you'd rather run combat preparation. This plays decently in standard defensive decks though, and is a C+. All Out War is a 1 cost rolling 4 to 9 block, 4 to 8 slash, and on use, the user gains 1 positive emotion coin. Compared to Inner Ardor, you trade 2 power on the slash for the page being 1 light cheaper. In this case, it does actually make the page stronger in my opinion. The rolls are still high enough to clash decently well, and the utility is the same. It's not amazing by any means, but it's good enough to be a B-. Our first stun page is Reload. This is a 1 cost rolling 3 to 7 pierce, 2 to 7 blunt, and on use, you get a random ammunition and draw a page. There are 3 kinds of ammo that all exhaust on use or discard. Armor piercing ammo rolls 3 to 7 slash and reduces the power of dice clashing into the user's range page by 1 per ammo. Frost ammo rolls 3 to 7 slash and makes the user's range pages inflict 1 paralysis and disarm on hit per ammo. Flame ammo rolls 3 to 7 blunt and makes the user's range pages inflict 2 burn on hit. Ammo is fine, but the page draw is where the magic is. This gives them decks great page econ and is a solid A. Bayonet Combat is next. This is a 2 cost rolling 3 to 7 block, 5 to 7 blunt, 4 to 6 pierce, and on use it adds 2 random ammo to the user's hands. This page is a pretty good ammo enabler, having comparable rolls to Creek, but losing dice type consistency. Ammo is nowhere near the value of drawing a page of course, but it's good enough for Bayonet Combat to be a B-. Suppressing Shot is a 1 cost ranged page rolling 4 to 8 pierce, 4 to 7 blunt. The pierce inflicts 1 bleed next scene on hit, and on use, the user discards a page with the lowest cost, and if an ammo page was discarded, all the dice gain 1 power. This is one of the 4 ways to expend ammo, and is the worst one in my opinion. The clashing isn't amazing, the utility isn't great, and as always, being a range page is more of a liability than an upside. This is just a C-. Shock Rounds is our next page. This 2 cost range page rolls 5 to 10 blunt, 5 to 7 pierce. The blunt deals 3 stagger damage on hit, and on use, the user discards 2 pages with the lowest cost from hand, then draws a page, and for each ammo discarded, the dice gain 1 power. This page is decent overall. You get to expend a decent amount of ammo and get a real page out of the deal. If you're discarding non-ammo pages, it's bad of course, but there's enough ammo generation that it's usually not an issue. The rolls are decent as well, so this page gets a B-. Focus Fire is a 3 cost range page rolling 7 to 17, 4 to 8 pierce. The 1 inflicts 1 fragile next scene on hit, and on use, the user discards up to 4 0 cost pages, and offensive dice gain 1 power for each ammunition discarded this way. This is the best way to expend a ton of ammo at once, and can get pretty crazy if you stack up a bunch of ammo. In high ammo econ decks, you'll often end up wasting page draws due to the page limit of 8, so Focus Fire can get them out of your hand in a hurry, and if your generation wasn't great, you can only discard 0 cost pages, so you can't get punished too hard for it. Overall, this page is a B+. Ferris Card is a 1 cost rolling 3 to 8, 3 to 7 block, 2 to 5 slash. This is a very simple page, but fairly effective as far as defensive pages go. If you need to block some damage on the cheap, this is a good way to do it. Unfortunately, like most 1 costs that don't provide utility, it's never going to be amazing, but it's good enough to be a C. Steel Knuckles is a 2 cost rolling 4 to 8, 3 to 7 blunt, 2 to 6 slash counter, and on use, it draws a page. This is an alternative to Gale Kick and is the superior version. The page draw being on use instead of on hit means that it's safer to use this page, and the damage is higher overall. This is a fantastic utility page and gets an A. Summary Judgment is next. This is a 2 cost rolling 3 to 7 evade, 3 to 6 slash, 5 to 10 pierce. On use, it discards a page with the lowest cost, and if an ammunition was discarded, all offensive dice gain 1 power. While this doesn't trigger ammunition effects since it's a melee page, The rolls are quite high, especially with the Pierce. Unfortunately, if you don't have an ammo, then this is card disadvantage, which is bad, but you shouldn't be in a situation where that happens very often, so this page is a B+. Discipline is a 4 cost, rolling 2 to 6, 4 to 8 block, 3 to 5 slash, 3 to 7 blunt. The blunt is rolled 3 times, and the page power nulls itself in the target's page. This is a decent counter page. Power nulling can be very powerful, and double block alongside it can reduce a ton of damage. Of course, the null is more downside than upside considering this page rolls with 4 offensive dice, but it's still good enough to be a B-. Le Rigole is a 3 cost rolling 5 to 11 pierce, 5 to 10 slash, 3 to 8 block counter, and on use, all allies deal 2 extra damage with offensive dice next scene. The rolls here are decent, but nothing spectacular, especially for a 3 cost with 2 dice. The block counter is nice, but the real magic comes with the 2 bonus damage to all allies. That'll deal 8 to 16 extra damage per librarian under ideal circumstances, and average to about 30 or so extra damage total per cast, which isn't insignificant. Its most common application is for cheese strategies, which is outside the scope of this list, but in standard play it's still a B+. Our last page is Class and Respect. This is a 1 cost rolling 4 to 8 slash that inflicts 2 bleed next scene on hit, and on use it restores 2 light. The Thumb's light regen of choice isn't a very good one. Unfortunately, 1 cost light regen is worse than 0 cost due to it being a bit more awkward to cast, and the die isn't good enough to consistently win clashes while also dealing less damage than frontal assault and not having a guaranteed emotion coin. This isn't premium light regen and it's just a C-. In the next video, we'll be covering the Kane Office, Church of Gears, and Leo Section 1. I'll see you soon, and as always, thank you for watching.